this is a very, very messy looking bench, and it is, because it's got too many things going on at once. And after I get back from Pennsylvania this year, I am very much hoping to have the time to get this completely cleared off. Again, it was cleared off as of, like not that long ago. But the problem is it's a multi-purpose bench. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, first, let me create some shade. So, we'll move this over here. And see if we can make it stay. Stay. Okay. That's better. Okay. So, lots of things going on this bench. Over here, we have a vise that I clamp cast pieces in to cut them off. This flat thing right, say to the water, right in my water bottle right there, is a special holder, move my water bottle, right here, for scalpels for cutting molds open. So when I have a brand new mold and it comes out looking, well, this is a messy one, but it comes out looking something like this, and you need to cut it apart because it's solid and you need to cut it. This is where you cut it. And you have these things that stick out that you can hook in between the layers of mold and cut them open. So, and I was just using that day before yesterday, actually. This is for cutting sprues. I'm debating whether I'm going to leave it there. I may change that out. But this is what I use for winding rings. This beast here. This part here is a mandrel, and they come in different sizes. Lots of sizes. Let's see. That is a size. And this is a size. And that honking thing is a size. And this one even has the hole in it that I talked about. Let's see, where is it? There it is. There it is. This is actually a pipe, but it doesn't matter because what matters is the external diameter of this thing. I can use things that do not have a hole in it. It's just that certain sizes work better if you have a hole. I just finished using this up, so it can go in the trash. You can also put dowels in it. They don't hold up as well, but it is possible. So let's do this honking big one. This is simply a bracket that has a chuck from a drill on one end and a handle on the other. Where did I get this? I think it came with one of my ring cutters. I'm pretty sure it did. You could easily, if you're good with tools though, this would be not a hard thing to make. Now I'm going to chuck this piece of wire pipe here. This is not pipe or wire. I am going to chuck this piece of metal rod in here, and I'm going to show you how I wrap. Now, I think I'm going to get a different roll than this because this roll is too hard, and I'm wondering whether it was accidentally ordered wrong or whether it's just been manipulated too much. But I am going to go get a roll of nickel silver out of storage, which is right across the room. In fact, I could even show that to you. I could show that to you. Whee! Okay. On the other side of the room, you see those shelves over there? That is metal storage. So what I need is I need a roll of 12 gauge nickel silver wire. Here's the nickel silver. It says GS, which means German silver. And here's 12 right there. And this is softer than the other one for some reason, so yeah. I could get a new one and show that. That would be easiest, probably. Okay, so there's a new one. That's what they look like. I get them like this from Rio Grande Jewelry Supply. They are not a sponsor. They're simply someone whom I am... I'm not indebted to them because they only take cash, but but I have spent a considerable amount of money with them. And see, this stuff over here, that's mold storage, as in the molds that I use to cast things with. And in that direction, there's a wax machine, and this stuff here is glass storage. This is ventilation that goes outside to draw the fumes off when you're using the torch, which is right there. Anyway, so I now have my roll of wire, and it comes shrink wrapped. Shrink wrapping does a couple things for it. One, it keeps it from springing open and apart. And the other is it helps to reduce the tarnishing, actually, because tarnish is caused by oxygen in the air interacting with metal, in this case. So I'm looking for an end, because sometimes you can get a nice, easy end, and you can just whip that sucker off there, and that doesn't happen very often. Let's see, this is dull, so I don't have to worry about it. I would never roll a brand new scalpel blade over metal, because it's going to dull it. But this is the one that's dull. I had changed the blade in the other one the other day, so I know that that is the case. I do not want to break the blade, however, because you can. Scalpel blades are brittle, so you have to be careful of them. Okay, now what I've done is I've cut through here, and I'm going to be careful when I open this because it may spring. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but you can wind up with a boo-boo sometimes when they spring. Okay, this is hooked in here, so it's not going to spring for now. There. You notice I got the fingers out of the way. Darn things can chew you up a little. This is still not completely sprung because it's hooked together here. Let's see if I get a pair of pliers. So, unhook. There we go. See, now it's completely sprung. This is the one that's actually underneath. So I'm actually going to straighten that out, because that is going to be nothing but a problem when I go to unravel this. It's going to get in the way. This is the one that's on top. And what I'm going to do is, if it didn't have that angle to it, I would put one in. Because I'm actually going to need that angle. Because I'm going to slide this into a little gap that exists along the edge of the chuck, and I'm going to start to wind this up. And after I just barely get it started, I'm going to put a pair of gloves on. There we go. Now, this is slightly rough on your fingers sometimes if you're using a stiffer metal. And what I want to do is I want to create... Okay, I don't like anything in front of me when I'm working, because you'll trip over something at some point. I'm simply holding my hand tightly on this with my thumb up against the wire, leather gloves. It's not worth the damage to your skin if you don't wear leather gloves. If you're doing much softer metals, things like copper and stuff like that, it may not be necessary. I don't remember whether I wore gloves or not when I was doing a lot of copper. But when I do brass, and remember nickel silver is just a type of brass, when I do any kind of brass or bronze, or sterling for that matter, I wear leather gloves. It's just a little easier on my skin, that's all. Because you can wind up with abrasions otherwise. I'm not doing this super fast because I want to get it right. And I'm underbending this gently, but I'm trying not to flex the metal more than I have to. Every time you flex the metal, it will become stiffer, And nickel silver is particularly susceptible to that. It gets stiff very easily. So I'm really careful when I'm using the rolls of wire to try and sort of unroll them gently and not tweak them around more than I need to. I don't want this metal to get any stiffer than it already is. I may have to, I'll see if this slides or not. I have to be careful. Remember that little piece I stuck in here? Sometimes they spring out, especially on the fussy things like nickel silver. And the last roll that I did like this, it did spring out, but the metal had been pre-hardened. Now, once in a rare while, I get a batch that is harder than it is supposed to be. I always buy mine dead soft, which means it's as soft as it can be made. And that has to do with the way it's been heated and cooled and stuff like that. However, in the process of rolling these rolls up like this, sometimes wire can accidentally be hardened or something could be mismarked. And you get pieces that are just harder than heck in comparison to what you were hoping they would be. And that could be a problem. I try and be really aware of that. That's why I decided I would just open a new roll for this process. Okay. Now what I have here is a nice tight spiral. There's one little teeny gap there, but that's not a problem. To make it a little bit longer. I wanted to show everyone how you use a saw to do this, because for your average producer, it is not worth buying fancy equipment. Like I said, you can twist this stuff on with your hands. Put it in a vise, you know, rig something to the way to do it. Wear gloves if you need the protection. But you can do it. And especially, most people don't need to make rings as big as I do. So, if they're just doing plain jewelry stuff, yeah. Okay, that is enough. See the black stripe on my thumb? That would be on my thumb if I wasn't wearing gloves. I don't want that. That's metal, tarnish, and it also kind of digs into your skin a little bit. Now I need a cutter. This is a sprue cutter, but any good solid wire cutter would do a good job. Then I slide this off and I go over to the ring cutter. So let's go over there.